Hi, I'm Donna, and I'm in Olean, New York, the United States of America. And I'm happy to be with you to show you a little bit about outdoor cooking, including grilling and smoking in our natural wood environment. Here in Olean, we're blessed with an abundance of forests. And I'm going to show you just how you can get some great flavor, starting with our first recipe, which is a smoked, dry rub, salt-free chicken drumstick. Come join me. So let's talk about the setup that you're going to need to make our smoked chicken drumsticks. We're going to be using a chimney starter today because that's the easiest method of lighting your fire and being able to go about your business of preparing your recipe. I have approximately 3 pounds or close to 4 kilograms of charcoal. We're using our charwood product. We're going to light that, and then we're going to let that burn down until it is a carbonized product. That means that it will be grayed over and it will be exhibiting the heat we're going to need to do the cooking. So I use a simple butane propane torch to light mine. You can use any kind of lighter that you're comfortable with. I just happen to prefer to use a torch. You'll also want to make sure that you always have a good quality heat-safe glove. I prefer ones that go up my arm quite a bit so that in case I'm working with the hot grill and my arm extends over the hot flames or over the hot grill grate, I won't get any burns. So this is a welder's quality glove, and you can find those readily available wherever you find your welding supplies. So I'm going to light my torch, and I've simply taken a toilet paper holder, the leftover from the toilet paper, and I put that at the base. And I'm going to leave my torch heating up until I see that it has caught the charwood on fire. Once you have an ignition, you will not need the fuel support any longer from the torch. And I normally listen for the telltale crackling sound of the charwood or charcoal to ensure that it's caught. And you can feel free to move your fuel source to another side of the chimney starter, and you can see that we're getting some smoke, which indicates it started. And then we'll leave that until we see that it totally ignite and then go into a grayed state. Okay, so let's talk about grill setup today. One of the things that's really important is to be able to cook outdoors and not have it consume all of your time. And so one of the ways you can get around having to babysit your grill is to set up what's called a 2-zone cooking method. I'm using a Weber kettle grill today for our chicken drumsticks. And what I've done is I have a simple mesh screen that I've cut in a circular manner to act as a screening process to support my smaller coals. So as my charwood or my briquettes or my charcoal starts to burn down and we get into smaller pieces, I want to be able to secure all of the heat from those and take advantage of the essence that they actually give to the food. And to do that, by using the screen, I'm able to capture all of that flavor as well as the heat. Now, a 2-zone setup means we're going to only put heat on one side of our grill. The other side is going to be left open of fuel. That's going to be where we place our food on the grill grate when we put it on the top. For today, I am putting in some unlit charcoal in order to allow my lit charcoal to ignite that as we get through the cooking process. So I've layered some smaller chunks at the bottom, and I will be putting in a couple of larger pieces. And remember, if you have something that can be broken down like a lump charcoal, you can feel free to break that down as well. But I will be putting a couple of the larger pieces in as well. And that will add further support for my fuel source because the chicken will take at least an hour to an hour and a half to cook fully. Once my charcoal's ready, I'll be pouring that in, putting on my grill grate, heating up my entire unit, and then getting ready to put the food on. Okay, let's talk about the ingredients for our dry rub for our chicken drumsticks. So we're using some ingredients that are slightly different than what most Americans would be using, and that's because we are going with a salt-free dry rub. Now all of the ingredients I'm going to be placing into a mortar and pestle because I like to do my rubs as a fresh ground. So let's go through first what's included in our rub. We're going to be using whole allspice. We're going to be using an ancho chile. We're going to use cinnamon, curry powder, cardamom, and you can use ground or you can use seeds and grind them yourself, cocoa powder, and then just some black fresh ground pepper. So everything will be going into our mortar and pestle. And I'm using approximately 2 tablespoons of each ingredient. This will be enough for roughly 1.81 kilograms of drumstick meat. And for the pepper, use your discretion. I happen to like a lot of pepper, so I will be grinding quite a bit into my rub. Once you're finished with all the ingredients, you're merely going to start to process everything together. And remember, we don't want to end up with any really large bits of anything. So be sure that you take your time with this stage and get everything processed. Once done, we'll be coating our chicken drumsticks as the final step before they hit the grill. It's time now to apply our dry rub to our chicken. You'll see that I put them into the resealable bag. And this is again approximately 1.8 kilograms of chicken drumsticks with the skin on. Here is our beautiful dry rub. As you'll see, everything has been pulverized evenly. So what I'm going to do is just start sprinkling it into our bag, and then we will be coating it on all sides, rotating our bag. And this will ensure even flavor to all of the chicken. Now, I failed to mention when we were reviewing our ingredients, be sure that you're using a unsweetened cocoa powder. We don't want to add any sugar to this. You're not going to need it. The chicken rendering its fat along with these wonderful ingredients will be plenty of flavor, and you will not miss any sugar. I know a lot of people like to put brown sugar. One of the things I will caution you about when you're doing outdoor cooking on a live fire, sugars will caramelize with heat, and that can give you a burnt taste. We don't want to go there. We want to make sure that everything stays balanced with our wood choices as well as with our ingredients and our rub choices. So I've put all of our dry rub now into the bag. We're now just going to gently move our chicken around into that rub. Just trying to get everything as evenly coated as we can. And once you feel that you've got everything coated evenly, I'm going to be using a disposable pan. Now, I love these disposable pans. There may be some that don't like to use disposable aluminum pans. I happen to not have a problem with them. What I've done is I've got an inexpensive roasting tray that fits perfectly in this size. This is a quarter sheet pan, is what we call them here in America. And this is just a little quarter sheet roasting. It'll keep our chicken elevated off of the base of the pan and allow all the juices to render to the bottom. So once I have everything coated, and you'll see how wonderful they look, we're going to just lay them out in the pan. And this is going to be a fairly tight fit for the amount of chicken that I've got. Do not be concerned about that. They will continue to cook evenly. There won't be an issue. And just lay them out as best as you can. And what I try to do is do kind of a one leg going in one direction, the other in the opposite direction until I can fit everything in. And again, I have about 8 drumstick legs today. Now, I want to also point out that if you have any leftover dry rub, as you'll see in my bag, you cannot save this and reuse it. This has been exposed to poultry juices, and poultry can be very high in pathogen development if it's not handled properly. So do not try to keep this for another day. You must let it go. Once they're in the pan, I do just another little step to add a little bit more flavor. And the first is, I like to just put some pads of butter. Now, what this helps with is just the crisping of the skin. So I'm just going to take some butter and I'm just going to put it along the surface of the chicken so that as it hits the heat, you will actually see that start to be absorbed into the chicken's meat. This will add to the moisture content as well. And my tip for smoking, smoke vapor only likes moist and cold environments. So you are helping to stimulate the smoke to attach itself to the chicken. Now today I'm using just a grapeseed oil. You can use any type of oil that you have handy. I do prefer nut oils or grapeseed, avocado oils. I just like the ones that are more prone for a higher heat. So I'm just going to gently drizzle a bit of oil as well over my chicken. And you don't need a lot. We don't want to add a lot of calories to already our chicken that's skin on. And then that's it. Okay, we're ready now with our coals. As you can see in our chimney starter, our charwood is now grayed over. Although it still has some flame, that's fine. You have to be careful to judge the timing of this because you don't want it to disintegrate too far where you're not going to be able to have some addition to your unlit coals. So using your fire-safe gloves, you want to gently pick up your chimney starter, bring it over to your grill, and dump it over your unlit coals. That will be enough fuel to start the rest of it. Always remember to put your chimney starter in a safe location following that. Now, this will give us fuel source. It's going to give us for temperature to control our cooking. But we are going to want to add some additional flavor. So what I'm going to do is add a few wood chunks, and I'm using a double fillet wood chunk by Smokinlicious, and I'm going to use 3 different flavor essences. I'm using a cherry wood, an ash, and a sugar maple. And you just place those over the hot coals. That will ignite or start the smoldering process of our wood. Now, our hardwood has got a level of moisture that will keep it from flaming up. But note, if you continue to have a lot of oxygen, you will increase the risk of that starting to flame. I have the benefit of using a lidded grill. You may not have a lid, and that's fine. No, you'll still get some essence out of it. Once we have our wood in place, we're ready to put our grill grate back in. And you'll see that I have a grill grate that has 2 sides that can be advanced up, and that's just to allow me to feed some more wood or charcoal. Now I'm going to put our lid onto our unit. And you'll notice that I've already set my vents. This is a vent on the bottom that is going to be your intake, and that's what controls the oxygen flow into the unit. This is what's called the outtake, and this is what controls the draft. You have to balance the two for 2 reasons. One, in order to maintain your temperature at the ideal rate. Right now, we are shooting for a 300-degree Fahrenheit. And we're also shooting for the smoke to not be overwhelming to our meat. Okay, so here we are back at the grill. As you can see, our temperature is nearly at the level that we want to be, about 150 Celsius. We're going to remove the cover, and you'll see how our wood chunks have begun to smoke nicely now. Still, again, we have our 2-zone setup. So my fuel source, heat source is on one side. I'm going to take our tray, and I'm going to place it on the unlit side of the grill. Now remember, as temperatures will radiate through the grill, they will begin to cook the chicken in an even fashion. Now I will be using my kettle grill's lid. If you don't have a lid, the only thing you need to be aware of is that there will be some fluctuation in the temperature. You might need to rotate your tray more frequently than I will need to do. I'm going to come back in about 35 minutes and I'm going to turn my tray of chicken so that I get an even charring on all ends of my chicken. We're back and it's time to check the halfway point of our chicken drumsticks. As you'll see, they're cooking nicely. All the butter has started to blend in. What I'm going to do is now turn the tray, and I'm going to just get a quick reading on our temperature. So I'm going to try to pick one that is the thicker and just get a reading right now. And remember, we're shooting for about 73.8 degrees Celsius. For those of you in the United States, we're shooting for 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're just shy of about 40 degrees to go. Now, you'll see that I have some flame that started, and that's the oxygen. Once you feed oxygen to it, you will start to see more flame. And that is the burn off of the volatile gases that are coming off of the wood and the char wood. So, we will return for the finished product. In total, it took about an hour and 15 minutes to finish off our chicken drumsticks, and they came out fabulous. You'll remove them from the grill pan and place them on a serving tray. I like to still keep mine going every other direction. They have a nice, beautiful char, and you'll even see where they were so moist they burst open some of their wonderful skin. And of course, it's only fitting that my favorite person that does my photography, which is Angela, should be the one who gets to sample this fabulous meat. It's only perfect to share. Okay, let's see. And it's top rated.
That is really good. Wow.
So now join us as we work on our next episode, something that will complement our smoked chicken drumsticks with a dry rub, as we feature our smoked potato salad. You'll want to get that treat in. Perfect complement to our drumsticks or any other side that you would like to serve with any animal protein. So we'll see you next time. Our thanks to Clinton and his team as we enjoyed bringing you our version of outdoor cooking style with hardwood the natural way. From Smokinlicious and Donna and team.